I'm recording. I didn't mean to record. Okay. Hi, everybody. It's your girl, Chi-Town Blue here. I am so elated and excited about this morning. Let me tell you, I'm here. I wanted to basically tell you guys that I am a part of the Generation X. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of history about me and what you're seeing on my pages. I know it's a lot that you're seeing. Okay, so I was born and raised in the city of Chicago, West Side all day. I'm actually doing my little twist. I have found some honey curls from Target and fell in love with this Shea Moisture milk, and it is so good for my hair. So that's what I'm putting on my hair. I also have my beeswax. You guys know about the beeswax. And then we're gonna talk. We're gonna have some quality time right now this morning. It is early. It is early in the morning. It's about 4 in the morning. But I wanted to tell you guys about me and how I got here on YouTube. Born and raised out of the west side of Chicago. So let's get started. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Go below this video, hit the notification bell. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for stopping by the page. It's your girl, Chi-Town Blue. This is the Key S Expressions Publishing / Multimedia Division. We're always doing big things in our arena of entertainment. Okay, you guys, let's go. All right, now, if you are a returning viewer, you're part of the 188,000 K views on here. Thank you so much, both in the U.S. as well as overseas. So let's get started. Okay, here we go. Generation X. This is how I got started. West side of Chicago all day. I'm the oldest. I have another sibling, young man, my little bro. I love him so much. He just recently had a birthday. So happy birthday, bro. Thank you so much. I've already talked to you. We've laughed, all that good stuff. Okay. So I grew up in a very strict household. My dad and my mom. The best way to describe my dad, James Evans from Good Times. That's the best way, the only way to describe my dad. God rest his soul. He was very strict in raising me. I was, doing things like coming home from school by myself, walking the streets of Chicago, West Side, coming home by myself when I was younger. I think I had to be like 11 or younger than that, coming home by myself. Went to Michelle Clark Middle School, grammar school. Went to the Priest Elementary School. And I just remember growing up in a household filled with music. My dad was a musician. Cy Richardson, actually, the actor, the one that got the cast of Bernie Mac together, actually gave him his first drum set, bought him his first drum set. He believed in my dad's dreams so much that he was a mentor to my dad. And up until the casket closed, him and Cy Richardson, best of everything. And I really appreciate that relationship that he created with Mr. Richardson. And you guys know Mr. Richardson. He prepared Bernie Mac's crew for the Bernie Mac show. He got Kim Whitley's career off the ground running for her, the comedian. And also he's been in Verizon, CSI Vegas, FedEx commercials, the Colors movie with Sean Penn, and the movie Posse with Mario Van Peebles. He's done, his career just really taken off over the years. So him and my dad created this bond with each other that was there up until his passing, And so that was really cool, to have that connection like that. So, grew up around music. My dad's side of the family is my grandmother and my grandfather. Both of them have passed. I lost my grandmother in 2008 to breast cancer. But before she passed, she had a connection with Shirley Caesar. Her and her group were supposed to perform with Shirley Caesar on a show that was called Jubilee Showcase on the west side of Chicago. So it was just like a local show where they would get talented people to come on and perform. The staple singers have been on there numerous times, performing. But my grandmother, since she had 6 kids and a husband, she put her dreams of singing with Shirley Caesar on the back burner to raise her family. She put her family first, and I'll never forget that. So when I lost her to breast cancer, that's what really like sparked something inside of me. But I just talked to my mom about this, that I had growing up a strong family unit. It was no fuck shit going on when my mom had to leave me with relatives. Um, I always felt protected, you know. Um, and so I had an uncle and his wife that lived downstairs that watched me. And I have at least three relationships that I can say that were solid in front of me. You know, my grandmother and my grandfather on my dad's side, she stayed with him until he passed away, you know. And then my mom and my dad, they stayed together for 40 plus years. And then my aunt and uncle, these were the examples of longevity in relationships that I had in front of me. And so I remember, you know, going to DePriest Elementary School and walking down the street and walking past that building on Jackson and having my uncle, you know, yell at me, good morning, you know, those type of things. It was just love. It wasn't anything, no fuck shit going on. And my mom felt comfortable enough leaving me with them. And I loved it. I remember one time they were getting ready for church. And I was really young. I think I had to be maybe 6 or 7 years old, or maybe younger than that. And I would always go in their room. They were fully dressed, you know, and he had this desk, and I would see him in his tuxedo with his dress shoes on, and you know, she would have her beautiful dress on, looking for her pearls and everything, and he had this desk. And in this desk, it was a built-in typewriter. But the typewriter was really small, but when you push the buttons, it actually moved, and I loved it. And so he allowed me to sit there and just zone and be the secretary for 2 hours. And I had a field day, you know, with my little peppermints and everything. It was just things like that. He instilled in me the confidence to be whatever it was that I wanted to be. I remember times going down in the basement with him, and he had this tool shed because he was fixing things in the apartment. And so he would have this tool shed, and this tool shed would consist of tools, and I'd go back there with him, and he'd tell me about life and how he was, his family and things of that nature. And I would love to be down there. Like, when you're a tomboy, like, I consider myself a tomboy. So going down there was like a rite of passage, because if you got scraped, or if you got, you know, your fingers get caught or whatever, you have this rite of passage because you have this band-aid on your finger. So then that leads to the stories of how you got it, and it made you just the coolest person in the world to be able to experience that. So I had tons of band-aids, you know, on my fingers or stuff like that, to share those stories with them when I went to school, with the other kids when I went to school. It was just, I had that with me. And so it was cool. My grandmother on my mom's side, very bougie. I mean, bougie, bougie, bougie. And the one thing that I always hated was having to go look for shit for her. Oh, God. Because you got to think about it. I'm short. So you tell me to go find some shit in this great big ass closet that would close me up. And these are the huge closet doors. Like, I gotta go into this museum and try to find some shit that you asking me for. Never knew where it was, and then got afraid because she get pissed because I couldn't find the shit. Well, I don't know what I'm looking for. And my mom, she acted like she went back to 3 years old, like she couldn't help me look for the shit. Come on, you know? Where's Regis at? I need a lifeline, because this woman want me to go into this damn museum and find some shit that I can't find. Oh my goodness, I hated that. I hated that. But the one thing that each grandmother instilled in me was beauty and what being a woman was all about. They were not size 2s. They had curves, but they always told me about being confident in who I am as a young lady growing up. There were just certain things that you shouldn't do, things of that nature, especially with them both coming from religious backgrounds. So that was something that was instilled in me. Oh, my grandmother on my mother's side, oh, let me tell you. Okay, so she had this living room, and mind you, I think I'm about either 9 or 10 years old. And she had this living room, and the living room was huge, okay? Now, mind you, she's a religious woman. This is total pressure, and I talk about this. She has on her wall, now mind you, she was a part of the Thompson Community Singers, Operation Push. She was a part of all of that stuff. Reverend Brunson's church, she was a singer there. Community choir, she was a part of that. She when the year came out with albums and stuff like that, she was on the cover. Okay. She has this wallpaper in her house that has like this whole Western theme on it, right? Now, mind you, at night, she elevates popping off the wall, all that shit, okay? I had to sleep in the living room, okay? So, there I am in the living room. She bought this lamp, and I don't even know what happened to this lamp to this day. Now, mind you, got the wallpaper of the Western community, okay, on the wall. No faces, just all these different figures on the wall, right? Now, mind you, she done took me to church. Fire, brimstone, I'm scared out of my life, okay? I don't want to even sneeze, because I think if I sneeze, I'm going to hell, okay? So, you talk about traumatized I was. Okay, so she has this great big old lamp, right, that's sitting on this table. This is a lamp of an African man, face black, body black. And he got his leg crossed with the light bulb coming out of his head, right? So he's got the white cover of the light bulb coming out of his head. Now, mind you, I got the wallpaper of the Western community that's popping off the walls. I got this lamp that's sitting there, and I feel like the damn thing is looking at me every 5 seconds. And I got the couch with the plastic on it. I don't know where she found this blanket from. It's a blanket that has Jesus' face on it. And the world behind, like he's in the sky, the background of it, big old head of Jesus on this blanket. The background is blue with little stars around it, right? So I'm supposed to sleep in this room. She got the radio on with Benny Hinn. She got Benny Hinn playing. I got this lamp in front of me. I got the wallpaper that's scaring the crap out of me. And I'm just supposed to sleep here. And I can't forget the radiator in the front room. So the living room. So now I got this loud radiator that goes off whenever it wants to. This great big old noise wakes you up. I got the banner of Jesus looking over directly at me. So every time I look up, I feel like it's looking at me. It's moving its eyes and everything at nighttime. Total and utterly terrified of this particular room I'm in. I'm just like, you talk about traumatized. And I never understood growing up why she would always make me do these speeches. And I had to wear these itchy dresses, do these crazy speeches in front of everybody, and didn't understand where it was going to lead to down the line. And I didn't understand it. But I would always get in trouble at school for always talking. No self-control whatsoever. That check box was always, it was either in-school suspension for being late or in-school suspension for running my mouth too much. I dealt with it all. So as I grew up, though, she influenced my love of theater. My grandmother did on my mother's side. She used to always take me to these stage plays. I mean, from the subject matter being crucifixion of Jesus to just, I remember a musical where it was just a bunch of kids of all races dancing on stage. And I looked at the response of the audience, and I knew that was something that I wanted to do. I just didn't know how to get involved or start it or what have you. So my mother though, she introduced me to film at a very young age. I went to, they used to have downtown what's called the Water Tower. And my mom, she'd work during the week. And I never really thought we were poor. Because she always worked. And if we could have a time out, it would be downtown Chicago. In the wintertime, they had these windows. The store was called Carson Perry Scott downtown. And they would have these big picture windows. And in the windows, it would be Christmas time. So they would have these different skits being done by puppets. And so I fell in love with just that experience with my mom. Even though it was cold outside, I could hold my mom's hand, and she made sure that I saw each and every window on Christmas. And that was just my introduction to theater. And then she also took me to go see Snow White. That was the very first movie that I went to go see with my mom down at the Water Tower. And this place was beautiful. Like for 2 hours, you go downtown Chicago and you are transformed into this whole new world of just beauty and smells, of just perfume and cookies and just all this ambiance downtown Chicago. I just soaked it all in. And it was just like a totally different world. And she also, my mom, she had me go see sit through a movie called Dr. Detroit with Dan Aykroyd. Now, I had no business watching this movie at all. You got to go Google this movie. Dan Aykroyd, for those of you that don't know, his career started Saturday Night Live. So he tried to branch out and do movies. So he did this pimp movie. It was a pimp movie in the 70s that was called Dr. Detroit. So I'm there. I'm like 10, 11 years old. I'm with my mom. And that's the movie that comes on. And she don't have a babysitter. So I'm sitting there sitting through this movie. I sat through that movie. But she also took me to go see Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. And Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo, all the dance movies that was really out then in the 70s, 80s, my mom allowed me to go see that. And she sat with me through it. And I'm grateful for the experience. And then at 12 years old, I got introduced to Prince. Now that story, now again, my parents didn't have a babysitter at all. So went to the drive-in. Those of you that don't know what the drive-in is, it's a place where you go and there's a big, huge screen. All the cars pull up. You get this huge speaker attached to your car, and you can listen to the movie. Surround sound in the car. And then there's like a concession stand in the back with the bathrooms and stuff where you can go there. And then right up under the screen is a hill. Right up under the screen is the hill. And it's like a little play area where you can do swings and slides and stuff like that before the movie starts. And it was all outdoors. So that was the driving. Well, the movie Under the Cherry Moon came out. And I was about 12 years old. And so my parents didn't have a babysitter. My mom warned me, look, you're going on top of the roof of this car, hide your face at the kissing scenes. So I'm like, okay. Alrighty then. So as soon as the kissing scenes came on, I had my little hands was over my eyes, but of course I looked through my fingers. Yes. I said, ooh, he on top of that white lady. Prince on top of that lady. So that was my first introduction to music and movies coming together and being so transcending the way that it was. And I really appreciate that. So my dad, musician, and the coolest thing about him was that it wasn't just one-dimensional music. It wasn't just R&B. It wasn't just soul music. James Brown, yes. The Jackson 5, yes. But it was also the Doobie Brothers, which was a Caucasian group that really did a lot of soul music in their own way. He introduced me to Sting and Police. Heavy metal, music became something that I was really intrigued about growing up. And so I remember him taking me to the studio. My dad did a lot of community work because he was a veteran. He joined the Navy at 17 years old. So when he came out, his platform in the media was Veterans Affairs. So he did like 3,000 hours worth of footage that is in the Veterans Library now, the Veterans Museum now in Chicago. And I really appreciate them taking the time out to recognize my dad for his contribution in media. And I really and truly appreciate just everything that he has done. I remember going to the studio with him and my feet couldn't even reach the floor. That's how small I was. And I remember people asking for him to do their projects for him. And I watched him behind the scenes give direction on different shots to different people. The cameraman needed to be here. The microphones need to be able to hear this sound. Just a lot of him dictating how the finished product was going to look. And everybody that talked to him, I was so proud. And he even had one young lady who was doing a teenager type of show where, you know, the dancers were there, you know, the audience was young people, and she really had a knack for, you know, putting music out, you know, for the young people and having a show, a platform where young people can come on and perform and things of that nature. So, but he really just was not appreciated enough. You know, they didn't compensate him for the work that he had done. And that's what the issue had always been. And so it taught me a lot about character. It taught me a lot about how to call the shots, how to be in control. I knew that I wanted to do that. I wanted to see my dad's name up there, you know, when the credits rolled, was an honor and a privilege. You know, people were asking, like I said, people were asking for him to work on their project. And he did it. You know, he did it, and I was very proud of his work ethic that he left, you know, in his legacy. And I really appreciate that so much. And like I said, I grew up very sheltered. I'm a Generation X baby. So I spent a lot of time using music and TV to keep me company. And so I remember, you know, going to my grandmother's house and watching the stories, they call them stories, or the soap operas that came on TV. I wasn't supposed to watch that stuff, but I did anyway. And so the things that I would do is I would use like different scarves on my head to make my hair long, to act like I was a different person. And I put Vaseline on my lips. And I stand in the mirror and watch the episodes and try to mimic what I saw on TV. And that was basically my introduction to TV, and really just having a field day. You know, that's the way I entertain myself, by using my imagination. Big forehead, of course. I have a lot of dreams up there. So it was just amazing, you know, to have that as an option for me. My dad, entertainment wise, I did the stage plays and stuff like that at church and stuff. I did some acting with my grandmother. We were in a Christmas project together on stage before. That was really dope to be able to get that experience under my belt. It was really cool. I watched Janet growing up, big Janet fan. And I wanted to talk about body image because it's something that's very important to everybody out there. I went through the whole being in this divide of being not white enough, and either being not white enough for the Caucasian group or being too light skinned for the dark skinned girls. So I was in the middle. I was teased. Oh my God, I was teased. I was called an albino, you know, by the boys and all that stuff. What happened to me though was one day I was in grammar school, I think 6th or 7th grade. And I'll never forget this boy's name. His name was Donald. And the highlight of my school was my mother taking a clear bag and putting school supplies in it for me, you know. And I was really excited about that happening, you know, for me. You know, I was proud my mother bought me that bag with the pencils in it and the crayons. You know, you get the fresh crayons and everything. So you're really excited when you go to school. So I found myself sitting there in the classroom, and we had a substitute teacher. And the teacher couldn't control the class. So because I got disciplined the way that I did at home, I felt like this situation was my fault. And I carried it for years. I never told anybody about what happened to me for years. I think I didn't tell my mom until I was like 15, 16 years old. So what happened was I'm focused on my bag because my mom made that bag for me. So I'm fighting this boy across the table with my bag. I'm like, give me my shit, you know, give me my stuff. And all of a sudden, I see the kids around me. You know, they're looking like pale face all of a sudden. I'm like, why are they looking so crazy? You know, what's wrong? Why are they looking like that? And so all of a sudden, I hear this and I feel this whack. And I'll never forget this guy's name. His name is Mr. Edwards. And he wore this brown suit with this yellow shirt on. And he didn't have control of the class. So what he ended up doing was he took his belt off. And when he took his belt off and started swinging, everybody else got away. It caught me totally and utterly off guard. And all I did was I felt something burning. I'm like, what is that burning on me? Why is my back burning? Everybody got away. But before I could even get out of the chair or just comprehend what was happening to me, I got hit in the crossfire. I got hit. My back. He hit me. Now, was he the only teacher that hit me? I got hit upside the head by a gym teacher at that school. Hit upside the head by a gym teacher. So that was my introduction to abuse, you know. And because of the way that I was raised, I accepted total and utter responsibility for that. I felt like it was my fault because it had to have been something that I had done to warrant that, you know. And I remember the class clown, his name was Maurice, and he looked at the teacher and said, you know, I'm going to tell. And he was like, I don't care. Go and tell. Go and say something, you know. And so I would never forget the young girl's name was Shaquilla. Shaquilla, I looked at her and she had this ghostly look on her face as I was getting hit. And never spoke of it. Never said anything to anybody about it because I always took on the mentality that it was my fault. And I say that because that shaped my identity as a person. It shaped it because it made me very defensive. It made me very standoffish, you know, very passive, letting shit rot out, you know. And that does something to your self-esteem. You know, it really does. But, you know, you chalk that up. You know, my dad taught me never show emotion because when you're living in Chicago and you're walking these streets, you don't want to seem like a baby. You don't want to punk out. You cannot do that because, you know, you may go past a crack house and somebody in that crack house may come out and try to confront you. You can't be a winner. You got to get where you're going. You got to get to your destination. That's what I was around. You know, those houses are no longer there anymore. They have renovated those spaces into housing for people that basically can't afford it. Look like a totally different spot. And it's crazy. It's crazy when you carry that. You carry those issues with you throughout your life. And so it becomes a shield to you. As far as self-esteem goes, I have always had an issue with eating. And I skipped breakfast for the longest time because I was looking at people like Janet. I was looking at people like Lisa Bonet on TV. And back then it was the natural look. You didn't have to wear tons of makeup. Lisa Bonet didn't wear a whole lot of makeup. The girls on Fame didn't have a lot of makeup on. These were my role models. My mom, she didn't wear a lot of makeup. So I never really got the message that you had to put on a whole lot of makeup to be acceptable. My grandmother was the fashionista. She was the one that was shopping. She was the one with the makeup. She was doing all that perfume, all that stuff. That was her thing, not my mom. So I kind of went around very with the big clothes, the boyish, you know, the boyish big baggy jeans, whatever. I went through that whole phase. I went through my Jodeci phase, which was getting a pair of combat boots, and rocking the combat boots with the jeans. I did all of that, I did do outfits like 8 Ball. 8 Ball had jackets and they had the blue jeans. Well, me and my girls, as we got older, we started filling out in our jeans and our jeans started shrinking. So we were rocking Janet riding boots to the knees. And our tight fitted jeans and our big hoop earrings, no makeup. And that's just how we rocked it in grammar school through high school. And so I had that image. And then when prom happened for me, prom was a big deal. So I had my makeup done. And I always been around plus size women. Even the women that I went to church with, they were plus size women. So I never had an issue with my size or think that there was anything wrong with me, because that's what I was always around, plus size women. And I'm not talking, wheelchair obese, but I'm talking, they shop at a store called Three Sisters, where it was the spinoff of Ashley Stewart. You know what I'm saying? And that was the store that was on 63rd and Halsted. And that's where everybody went to that was voluptuous. And on Sunday morning, it was the Silhouette Brick House. All you saw was brick houses on Sunday morning. They put them heels on. They put them devices under their clothes. They breast be popped up. And they like, praise the Lord, smell good. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. So I always had that type of role models around me, that it was just something about being beautiful and being full figured that it was okay to be my size. So I went through the whole, when prom came around, that was the biggest thing for me because I had an issue with eating breakfast. I cut breakfast out altogether, but it was a hindrance for me because I ended up developing these migraine headaches. And then it was, okay, when I get home at 2:30, I'm trying to raid the refrigerator in high school because I didn't eat. I hadn't eaten anything all day. So that's kind of how my weight was. And then got my first crush. When I got my crush, I admitted to him that I was in love with him. And we had been, sneaking around, ditch class, all this stuff to be together for a whole entire year. And when I admitted to him that I was in love with him for the first time in high school, he laughed in my face. That was a self-esteem thing for me. I was just like, never again. I'm not doing this ever again in life. I'm not going to admit how I feel about this person first. I'm just not going to do that. So that was a self-esteem thing. I got stood up in high school. Oh my goodness. Yes. I went to, his name was Terrence Brown. I still remember. And he was supposed to take me to the movies. So me and my mom, we went to Walmart. I got a little outfit and everything. And waited, and he stood me up. He never showed up. I was just like, okay, fine, whatever. And so in high school, I really could not participate as much in activities and things of that nature because I had a younger brother that had disabilities. He was like 2 pounds, 4 ounces when he was born. So Rush Presbyterian was like, everybody that's in the house, I was about 11, has to know how to take care of this child before we allow him to be released to you guys. So I'm Doogie Howser. I'm good doctor. I'm learning how to change his trachea because he had a hole in his throat. And so he had a device in there that whenever he coughs up, you have to listen for the gurgle, and get the machine and clean him out. And then that causes dirt around his neck. So you have to learn how to take the trachea out. If you have to, put the right one back in, change his wrapping around his neck. I had to learn all of that stuff. I had to learn how to read heart monitors. Like, when do I call the emergency room because his heart monitor has went from green to red. I had to learn all of that stuff at 11 years old. And I'm grateful because now he's older. We are 11 years apart, and he's awesome. But at 11, I had to learn that. So I didn't have a social life growing up. Everything was 4:30 in the morning, go to school with my mom on the CTA bus, and get to where I'm going, and take me 2 hours to get to school. I start my day, I do my 8 hours of school, get back on the bus, and I'm back home in Chicago. So and I was just determined to finish my high school education. So I fell in love junior year. This is what happened to me. I'll never forget. Junior year, I took a mass media class in junior year. Fell in love with this class. They were like, look, you don't pass this class, you don't graduate. But what they did was they sit you in this room and they show you all these old films. So everybody's like after lunch trying to nudge each other to stay woke so we could pass the class. But I fell in love with this class. Taught me everything about production from beginning to end. And then I found out about the salaries of some of these producers. And I'm like, where did they get a load of me? This is what I really truly want to do. So between my dad's experience and him taking me down to the studio, me taking this class in junior year, film school was it for me. And then I saw, which I wasn't supposed to be watching, I saw School Days. Fell in love with Spike Lee and all of his projects. I couldn't watch Spike Lee at home. I had to go to my cousin's house, badass cousin's house, to watch everything, to keep me in the loop of what's going on, because I'm a church girl, certain stuff I don't watch, But going over to my grandmother's house, that was the party house. That was the party house. Oh, I got to tell you about my first kiss. Okay, so my first kiss was done, I think I was like 10 or 11, of course. And my cousin had this guy. His name was DeAndre Stewart. I'll never forget it. They all went to school together. And so DeAndre was dark skinned. He had the little box haircut. And he looked like Aaron Hall from the group Guy, So he was really attractive and stuff like that. So I went over to my grandmother's house on the west side. And I was supposed to be there to help them out because my grandmother was having a backyard party. Grandma was having a backyard party, so she went with my aunts out, to the store or whatever. And so my cousin was always a practical joker, always. She always trying to set me up. So I was helping her take this table downstairs in the back, and it dropped on my foot. So I was in pain anyway. So DeAndre was supposed to come over, and this is the first time we were supposed to kiss each other. First time kiss. And so we had been talking to each other, and that was awkward. I had the dry Jerry curl. It was dry. And I had my glasses, I couldn't see, so I had glasses on or whatever. So he came into the hallway. I'll never forget this. Came into the hallway, and everything's looking all cute, like he just stepped out of Yo MTV Raps, real cute. Came through. And so we were sitting in the hallway. And so I'll never forget, my cousin was like, oh, grandma here. I'm like, grandma not here. You always playing practical jokes on me. She's like, no, for real. Grandmama here. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I happened to go to the door. And there my aunties was. I go, my aunties coming through the door. And he was sitting there. And he was just sitting there. And I just had this look on my face like, I'm busted. I couldn't even get the kiss. I didn't even get the kiss. And so all my aunties and my grandmother, they gave me the third degree. They was like, what you doing? I'm just thinking like, Lord, please don't let these ladies tell my daddy, because I know I'm dead. My daddy is James Evans. I'm dead. And my grandmother, to this day, she carried that secret to her grave. She did. I was so in trouble. I knew I was in trouble. But I just wanted you guys to understand the journey of my life. I think after I went to prom, I had the whole makeup thing done on my face. That's when I really felt like I was developing and growing into a young lady. Because my dress was so cute and pretty, and I looked in the mirror and I saw what I liked, and my mom was there to support me through that journey. But I had those issues too. I was looking at Janet and looking at the young girls who were a size 2 and trying to figure out, where I fit in as a young lady. And that's what really helped me, was the fact that I didn't just have my mom as a support. I had other women in the community who looked like us, who were voluptuous. And I sung in the choir, so the choir group that I was with on the west side, they embraced me. These were other women that were like, yes, we love your daughter just like you do, and we're gonna represent for her when she's with us. And it was just like a sisterhood. And so these women, I'm grateful for JoJo, and I'm grateful for Terry, because they were the epitome of what beauty represented for me. So I never felt like I was out of the loop, because my cousin looked like me. These two ladies that adapted me as their daughter and instilled in me role model issues and resolutions in my life, they all look like me. Big breasts, thighs, butt, and they can still turn heads. They got babies, so somebody loved them enough to do that. So they were my mentors, and I really appreciate that. So we ended up having after I did the whole going to prom thing, we had a church fashion show. So the piano person, her name was JoJo, she did my makeup. She had all these clothes, and she allowed me to participate in this church fashion show. And I mean, it opened up my eyes to the beauty of who I was. And I got on there, got dressed up in her clothes, and I'm talking the boots that go all the way up to the thighs, the tight jeans, the tight stretch pants. I was squeezing my ass into all of it, and it really just showed me the beauty of who I was as a woman. And previously, I had an issue happen to me where this lady had come up to me. We were at the local mall, and they were trying out people for this fashion show, this modeling thing. And so a bunch of judges came out, and I was dressed in my school gym outfit, but I had my hair done, really cute. And they were playing Janet, and I got nervous, like I always do on stage. I did my little Janet dance, whatever, and talked to these judges. I felt like my mom was really pushing me to do this. It wasn't something that I really wanted to do, and I could tell the difference. And so this model, who wasn't even a size 2, she came up to me and told me, "Oh, you need to lose a little weight." Excuse me? You're not a size 2, You're not a size 2, so I knew right then and there, I'm like, I'm not listening to this lady, because she doesn't know what she's talking about. And I've always had that about me. Like, I love who I am. I love my curves. I love that I can go and get an Ashley Stewart outfit, and it hugs my curves the way I needed to. And having 4 kids, my body weight went up and down. First child, I was able to get back into my size 16. But by the 4th child, oh no, you got to accept me for who I am. And that came with time. That came with, standing in my bathroom naked and feeling like, okay, this is who I am. Either I'm going to accept who I am, or I'm going to allow society to tear me down. And so I made a decision. I'm beautiful. I think what also happened to me is when 2018, when I was fighting for my life, cancer level 6, I had to have my portion of my stomach removed. I had to have 2 blood transfusions. And then I also had to, I also coughed up blood 4 times. So I lost weight because of that. I'm sure I did. But I had this confidence of, this is my life, and I got it back. So I'm going to not be passive, and I'm going to embrace every portion of who I am. I have cancer scars on my stomach. I have stretch marks from having 4 kids. My thighs rub together in the summertime. But I love who I am. I have the wings, my arms. Like Kevin Hart calls them wings. I love who I am. And you have to begin to do that. When you love who you are, you attract love. So I wanted my girls, I had 2 girls, and I wanted them to feel beautiful at the size that they are. So after I contracted cancer and got over that, the first thing I did was I went topless online in 2016. I went topless because I feel like I'm so liberated in who I am as a person. I'm not going to allow society to tell me that I have to do a BBL. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't have to do that. If it comes off good, if it doesn't, okay, it's still there. All right, cool. Lose 5 pounds here and there, you know? And I do my CT scans every year, 4 years cancer free. But I'm not going to allow society to dictate how I'm supposed to look. No, I'm not going to do that. Because I love who I am, and you have to accept me for who I am. And if you don't, hit the bricks and leave. You don't have to stay, you know. And that's the mentality that I wanted my girls to have too. And so they feel beautiful. They go through their own insecurities. But I let them know, hey, look, you find those insecurities and you tell those insecurities to shut the fuck up, period. Period. So I've always been the type of person to be natural. You know, I don't wear a lot of makeup. I don't. I work in the warehouse, so that's why my hair is like this. I twist it up and it unravels, and it gives me that bushy look. So I'm just doing that right now. But I just wanted anybody out there that's dealing with weight, dealing with who you are as a person. I found the beauty in who I am. You know, I have 42 D's on me. And I need a Jill Scott just to lift them up and say hello in all my pictures. I just feel that way. And nobody can tell me that I'm not beautiful. Nobody can tell me that. I believe that it comes from within. You know, because I'm a giving person. Because I'm the type of person that says, you know what? I'm not feeling my best today. Did I develop an eating issue? Yes. I skipped breakfast for years. And I'm not recommending this for anybody. I tried doing the slim fast and the diet pills together. And I'm just like, I'm not going to do that to myself. Because I don't know what effect that has on my organs or my kidneys or anything like that. And at this point, if you can't accept me for who I am as a person, move around. Move around. My last relationship, I stayed in that relationship for 2 decades. And it taught me about confidence and having confidence within myself. We were babies. We didn't know what we was doing. That's why it didn't work out. But I learned about confidence in my voice, in who I am as a woman, accepting my body for what it is and what it does. The fact that my body can not have a portion of my stomach and it takes a year to get it to grow back. That's some scientific shit, you know, and to really be in tune to my health really got me educated on, hey, look, my body can heal itself. My body can do these things that I didn't even know I had the ability to do, you know, until I got sick with cancer. So now I'm looking at myself as a science project and saying, hey, look, accept me for who I am. If you don't, move around, you know, move around. So that's my mentality. And anybody that's dealing with low self-esteem, I hope you see this video and understand that you are not alone. You are not by yourself. There are dark moments that come, but you overcome those things by loving who you are as a person. And you don't let society dictate what you are supposed to look like. You find the beauty within yourself and you move forward in that. You know, that's why I have the motto of, if you are a plus size diva, you know, you don't ask permission. You be who you are. You know, you be the influence. And watch it become life-changing and monumental for you. And it does that. My dad taught me that. My mom taught me that, you know, that sort of thing. So you live and you learn, you know. You live and you learn. But that's just what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Anybody that has any comments, if you want to leave those comments, have any questions or anything like that, just go below this video, hit that notification bell, let me know that you guys got something out of this actual video. I hope you did. I enjoy speaking on the legacy of my dad, who was a pioneer in his own right. So I do the music platform because I actually wrote a book. I wrote a book called Silent Whispers, Elegant Expressions of Lyrical Bliss. So, okay, so let me go back. Okay, so I'm out of high school. Richie's Rockets closed for 2 years now. Didn't know that, but yeah. So out of high school, I landed a job with the Chicago Sun-Times as an editorial assistant. So what I was doing was I was meeting with the actual staff of writers, and they have these 3 TVs. I'm just letting the cat out the bag. They have these 3 TVs, and you, as an editorial assistant, you sit before these TVs and you take notes. So your notes are discussed between you and the writer of the newspaper. And so you and the reporter, you have a meeting of the minds, and that's basically how the paper and the stories are done. So a portion of my job was not just to do that, but I also had to go in the basement where they actually printed out the papers. And I had to take a stack of papers in this barrel and take them to the different departments in the building. So lo and behold, one day, I'm dating my ex, what have you, and I missed my period. I missed my period. So on my lunch break, I went to get a pregnancy test on my lunch break. So I'm praying. I asked God, Lord, please, 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 please. So the stick ended up being pink. So I knew that I could not finish my job as a editorial assistant for them. So because of my physical issue now being pregnant or whatever. But that's if you're a mom out there, this one's for you. Okay, so this one's for you. Being pregnant. Okay, so what happened was my ex at the time, he spent all this money. It was my birthday. It was August, 80-degree weather. Now this house that we lived in had a dead dog in the back. So nobody was going back there. Nobody's going back there. I'm not having my guests back there because it's a dead dog. I'm not going to do that. So everybody's at my house. I have like 3 shifts of people at my house. So by the time the 3rd shift of people, now mind you, they cooked. Everybody cooked. I had food everywhere. I had fruit salad. I mean, I'm eating. I'm getting my eat on, right? So my ex, he had bought all of this, had bought the tickets for this cruise ship. So it's my birthday. So of course, he wants to do that big. He bought me tickets to this cruise ship. Spirit of Chicago. We were supposed to go on there. And I said, supposed to, okay? So by the time, now I'm fully dressed. I got my clothes on, got my little outfit on, everything. By the time the 3rd shift of people came, I was going into labor. So everybody's timing my labor pains, right? So I done came out the outfit. I had what's called a slip-on, a 1-piece slip-on. And for those of you guys that don't know what a slip is, it's like a very, very thin dress that you wear under your clothes when you dressed up on Sunday morning, whatever. And it's called a slip. It was a 1-piece. So 90-degree weather, everything feel hot, and I'm going into labor. So we never made it. We never made it to the cruise. And he was mad because it was time for us to go to the hospital and have this baby, right? So we get to the hospital, okay? Get to the hospital. Dad got good insurance, whatever. So we get to the hospital. He gonna kill me if I say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Okay, so there I am giving birth. Now, when you have a baby, the babies are sitting on your bladder. They just are. They're sitting on your bladder. So I push them out. So everything that came out. The fruit salad came up out the front end, and everything else came out the back end. I'm saying I wasn't beautiful that day. I was not beautiful that day at all. But I was grateful because, and to go back there after just announcing our wedding engagement, we were hit by a drunk driver. I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. We were on our way back to the church. And his aunt had cooked a soul food plate. So I'm feeding him, trying to adjust and feed him as he drives the car. And this dump truck, a small dump truck, hit us. And so I had to go into the hospital and make sure everybody was okay. We were on 79th and Ashland when we were hit by a drunk driver. And I wasn't wearing my seatbelt at the time. And I do remember hitting my head on the dashboard. I do remember that. I saw my whole entire life flash before me. And it was really a eye-opening experience for me. And I'm glad that God's hand was there to help me through that. Um, like I said, I use music. Music is everything to me. Music is everything to me. And so we got through that, you know. But then even before that, we had to bury a parent. Like all of our little savings, everything that we had to bury a parent. And that was like the hardest, most devastating thing. This has been about 25 years ago. And to have that happen, fresh out the gate, soon as you say I do, here it is, you got to face the death of a parent. And at that time, I was pregnant with my second child, my oldest daughter. And I remember it was blood everywhere, you know, and they were trying to get me out because I was pregnant, but I wanted to try to stay in, you know, because it's my father-in-law, you know. And so went through that with him, you know, went through a lot of stuff. And then just a lot. Life throws shit at you, you know, and you're trying to juggle, you know, a family. You know, the one thing I always wanted was when I met my ex, I wanted to have my dad be very, you know, accepting of what I was doing. Now, my ex was not the only one that proposed to me, though. I had a different guy propose to me. And his name was Fred. I'll never forget. Fred proposed to me. My dad liked Fred because Fred was in the military. But me and Fred had never went out on a date, you know, because of his ROTC or whatever. And so he was talking marriage. And I'm like, we ain't even went out on a date yet. How you talking marriage and then you cool with my dad? I'm like, no, you ain't. So I did not accept his marriage proposal. And I'm glad I didn't because I found out that the person that he married after me, he was abusive towards. I'm like, nah, it ain't you, bruh. I'm like, I'm not ready for all of that. So, met my ex. My ex, you know, went to church and everything with him, and that's how we met in church or whatever. And got married with him, and he awesome dad, takes care of the kids, all that stuff. But when you go through a crisis with your children, you sacrifice your relationship, and that's what happened to us. He cheated, infidelity, and you guys can see the videos. I did a whole bunch of videos on my divorce and winning and stuff like that without an attorney. Did all that. But now we're in a better place. I'm no longer upset with him about. I have my moments or whatever, but because we're in different places in our lives right now, we're still a united front with each other when it comes to the kids, and I get that. We're both in our own new situations now, and it's cool. You know, it's cool. We talk about the kids. You know, if ever some shit pop off with him, I'm like, hey, look, you know, that's father my child, my kids. You know, you can't fuck with him because if you fuck with him, you fucking with me. That's how we are with each other. And nobody can infiltrate that. That's just, you know, kids in crisis. Hey, look, I'm on the phone. Like, look, what's going on with the babies? Everybody good? Everybody okay? Yeah, cool. Okay, fine. I kept custody. He asked them, and he was missing them. You know, he's traveling and stuff, and he was missing them. I'm saying, yeah, I'm not gonna be. I didn't want to be that baby mama to say you can't have your kid. No, you there cutting cords, all this stuff. And so yeah, you know, 25, 23, 2016, you know, we done. Finished, okay. So, grew up vicariously with my kids. Children are accepting, no matter what you look like. They accept you for who you are. And so I grew up with the kids, you know. I spent every waking moment with my kids, you know, watching them grow, teaching them how to read, you know, 3.9 GPA, Morehouse recruited, 3.1 GPA, my daughter, now she's a CNA. My 20-year-old autistic, he's 3.8 GPA, education modified, occupational physical speech therapy. We had to go through all of that with my 20-year-old. And people don't know what that journey is like if if you don't know someone that personally goes through it. And I wanted to do this video for the autistic community, those moms and dads who have to deal with that. He was given a vaccination that was laced with Thermoral, and Thermoral is also found in antifreeze. And so that chemical had a reaction to him, you know, in his makeup. So he couldn't walk, talk, or speak. We had to do occupational physical therapy for him in 2 different states. And it took a toll on our finances because here it is. Yes, that's got good insurance, but I can't give you a matching income because somebody has to be there to take him to occupational physical speech therapy. And you're talking a child that's growing and you're carrying him in your arms, and he's tall and he's heavy. So I had to go through all of that, not by myself, but Dad was there to do his part in that scenario, in that situation. But it took a toll on our relationship. I was very depressed because I could not have the certain things were not given to me. It wasn't like I had a whole bunch of aid, you know, a bunch of people that were waiting on the back end saying, hey, look, we're willing to step in to take over the occupational physical speech therapy while you stay out in the workforce. I didn't have that at all. And so it made it difficult to begin to balance that. I would, even after the sessions, we would come home and do a whole nother 8 hours of me repeating the same sentence to him over and over and over again until he felt comfortable enough to open up. And I'll never forget November 20th, because it's not just my brother's birthday, it was the day that my son finally said the words, I love you. And mind you, he dealt with this since 2013, you know, since 2002. 2002 he had dealt with that. Since that time. And so that's a part of, I always wanted my son to feel like he had a good support system, and to have a doctor, a professional, tell us, hey, look, you need to put him in an institution and walk away. Fuck no. I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to roll my sleeves up, and whatever it is that I have to do as a parent to make sure that my son says, Mommy, I love you, I'm going to kick ass to do it. And that's just the battle. And people don't know they're celebrating him now at 20 years old, but don't appreciate the work that went into getting him there. And with my other daughter, all these things that people can now, you know, feel important about as if they had something to do with it, and they didn't. And I'm the one that speaks up and says, I'm not being passive anymore. You didn't have shit to do with it. You didn't pick up a phone. You didn't, you know, come and meet a counselor. You didn't come and sit and make sure that, you know, certain medication was filled. You didn't do anything. But now you can sit and gloat and praise God for where he is right now. But you can't forget the journey of how he got there, because somebody made the ultimate sacrifice for him to get there. And that was my thing. You know, he could not have done it by himself. And that's has always been my platform. So lo and behold, it's cool. I just want you guys to understand my journey of how I got here. Music is everything to me. My parents gave me Taste of Chicago, Portillo's, you know, White Castles, Checkers, yes, and Harold's Chicken gave me all of that. But they also gave me family and music. And I took a big hiatus off because a year ago I lost my dad, as I stated earlier. And it was a domino effect. Like, I got my first job, I got my new job, and on the 11th of May, I lost my grandson 6 days after that. And then on the 28th of June, I lost my dad. So that domino effect, I took a big pause on YouTube because of that. And so I also had my grandson with me on Bingo. And I had that going on. I had Super over there supporting me. I had Queen Op and Shell supporting me. But after the death of my grandson, I just took the page down. I was like, and he passed away of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. And he was joy. He was joy, light of my life, you know. And Families go through stuff, you know. But I'm grateful that I have the support that I do have. In this time right now today, I'm grateful for just life and being able to tell people, look, you can make it. It doesn't matter what your financial status is. It doesn't matter what your size is. Love is out there for everybody. God is unconditional agape love, and it's out there for everybody. If you can see this video, if you can breathe, if you can have the opportunity to tell somebody good morning, you made it. You know, we have 24 hours, daily bread, just a day. What have you done with that 24 hours? You know, what have you done with it? You know, did you smile at somebody? Did you tell someone good morning? That sends, because you never know what another person's going through. So I want people to understand this is my legacy. Everything that you guys see from me is self-made. From the celebrities that come on my page to the music, everything. I created this because I wanted independent artists to have a platform, a voice, someplace where they can go and promote their music and be safe in that environment. They don't have to sell their souls out. They don't have to fuck nobody else. They don't have to fuck animals. They don't have to sacrifice relatives. They can stay independent on their own music and have a place to come. I grew up watching Video Soul with Donnie Simpson. And everybody who was everybody on BET knew that if you sit on that couch, your career is going to go through the roof. Everybody knew that. So when it went off the air and 106 & Park came out, I was really disappointed because it did not give that spark, that tenacity, that innovativeness that Donnie Simpson did with Video Soul. So I wanted to be that, bring that back somehow. And I got it. I've never had, this is my thing, I never had a birthday party before. So I wanted to go into party promotions. So I found the people that I found on my page, the independent artists, and I said, you know what? I'm going to create an all-star team of just artists that I know for a fact is going to, if I ever put them on stage, if I can ever get a sponsor, that I will be able to, that these people will be able to make money for me. Sweet Juices 23, JJ Cicero, Trey Prada, Yogi, Yogi from Baltimore, Nathan Hill, just heavy hitters, Ben Ryder 1. These are my all-star team members. And I know that effectively, Dottie Stacks, I am Martina Lynch, these people would make money for me if I ever had a show to put on. And so I created the Maximum Overload Expo, which is out on Twitter. Go on Twitter, TikTok. Out on TikTok right now. I got 2,600 likes on there. Just go out there. That is my expo. So that was my whole thing. Having an event where we go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, travel all 50 states, raising awareness, sparking action. You get performances from these people. They get paid and they get to keep going, That's how I wanted it to be. That's my dream. So, yeah. So you guys are seeing I have a lot of heavy hitters on my A-list, A-list Alert Network TV. Thank you, Cisco, for the song. Drew Hill came through. You guys know Drew Hill came through, and it was just awesome to have these different celebrities pop up on my page. And I'll just go out and say, hey, look, I'll make little comments and stuff. And then if they respond back, I'll, do a video about it. Let you guys know what's going on with me. I'm just me. I am. I'm not, it ain't a whole big to-do about me. I love my life. I love where I'm at right now. When you have a whole house full, you have to always be on 10. And I have peace in my life that I know that when I make my transition, I would have made a major impact on the world of music through the A-List Alert Network TV. One person asked me, was it worth it? Yes, it's worth it. I was able to assist a young lady who otherwise society would have written off. And I made her my street team. Launched it in 2016. So she had been riding with me. And I told them, look, she can tag her ass off. and she would recommend other artists for me to take a look at. And we ran that together for the longest time, and I really appreciate Kia for what she did for me with the A-list, because I got a lot of feedback, but I couldn't handle it all by myself. And so she became my street team, and I really appreciate her holding me down and letting me know that hey, look, you're doing a good job with the A-list. And so also I want to give kudos to I Am Jams Radio out of Detroit, Michigan. They really embraced my A-list. You know, I was able to go on their platform and judge new artists that came out with material. And it had always been the same, because I've been writing ever since the age of 13. Writing romance novels, lyrics is something that's very important to me. If you don't have the lyrics, I don't want to hear it. The beat can be cool, but if your lyrics suck, you trash altogether. And I'm the type of person, I'm going to tell you that. You know, I would not put you on stage if all you can do is auto-tunes. No, we don't need 2 hours worth of auto-tunes. Give us the flow that we're looking for, where you can do a freestyle, 16 bars. That's what I'm looking to hear. And when I can hear that, you got something going on, then I'll make you an A-list. But it's not a charity. You have to do the work that it takes to get to the next level in your career, And so far, I've come across a lot of good artists. But I wanted to create this platform, A-List Alert, so that people will know that, it's a lot of talent out here. People say, oh, where's the talent? You're not looking deep enough, because I'm rocking with them. And I watch their development and how doors are being opened for them, and it's awesome to be a part of that. So that's all. I'm just a big head girl from the west side of the shop with big dreams, And I thank you guys for just journeying, traveling with me. To give you a little bit about my mom. My mom is in finance. Her background is in finance. And she was part of the whole housing industry, the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac era. She worked with them too, and she's doing her own self-publishing projects too that's out. And she's an inspiration too. She's very bougie, but I love her still. But I am truly grateful for her impact in my life. I don't always give her the credit. Sometimes I get mad at her, but other than that, I love her, and I wish her all the success. My platform is not for her. No, Mom, my platform is not for you at all. Okay, so here's the thing with me, A-List Alert Network TV. It started out with 3 segments. I have the Artist Spotlight, which is basically showcasing the independent artists. And then I have a celebrity VIP shout out. So if I have a celebrity that comes on my page, I'll give you guys that. I have a shock value, which is where my commentary is, uncensored commentary. So we talk about everything from politics to religion to violence in the streets. We talk about it all. And I give you no nonsense. If I might do a review on a video or whatever. That sort of thing. And then also my taste of resistance is Thrive Thursday. Thrive Thursday came about because of Janet Jackson. I'm a huge Janet fan. And I'm a huge Janet fan, Prince, Madonna. I grew up watching all that stuff. Wasn't supposed to, but I did anyway. So that opened up a window for me. So I'm like, okay, sexiest men on IG. So I'm like, man, Thrive Thursday. And I remember growing up, there used to be this magazine publication called Right On Magazine. And you know what we do, ladies? We take the artists that we like attractive, Jodeci, for example. And I would take all their pictures out and put them all over my wall. So I had New Edition on one wall, Blair Underwood, LA Law Blair Underwood with his shirt open on another wall. And then Casey, JoJo, all of them all over these big old posters all over my wall. So that's how I got started. So I ended up listening to Thrive by Janet. I'm like, man, I can fuse these two together. Thrive, Heartthrob, Thrive Thursday. So it became the Sexiest Men on IG. I've been voting on that since 2016. And yes, the most beautifulest creation the God has ever made on planet Earth is a sexy black man. I'm sorry, that's just me. But I do give you guys also my Italian side. So I do have, Justin Timberlake up there. You guys got to go see my IG. It's all over the place. But I love what I do. I'm having a blast doing it. And who knows where it could lead to. I just enjoy what I do. So that's just me, you guys, running my mouth, letting you guys know who I am from the Windy City of Chicago. It's your girl, Chi-Town Blue here. Chi-Town, same person. 40 years Thriller has been on the scene since day one. I'm a huge MJ and Janet Jackson fan. You guys know. I created a project called His Voice, His Movement, about the legacy of Michael Jackson, Jackson Dynasty, coming from the standpoint of a female this time. So I got Cy Richardson to read the synopsis, and he said that this project has legs and it should be before a major studio. So I want to be able, my dream is to convert the book into an actual film and have Dreamcast and Zendaya as the lead on this project. And I do want Dreamcast and Janet and Angela Bassett, with the three of them and all the attitude. I would love for them to carry this project to the next level. So that's project number one. Project number two is Maximum Overload, that would Dreamcast Chris Brown as a leader of this group of 7 misfits who have the opportunity to compete for Bill Gates' money so that they can get the program that they develop out there before the general public. So it's an underdog type of movie. They do have to battle other teams to get them to the level of success that they're looking for. Do they make it? With all these setbacks, life issues, do they have what it takes to be a success? We'll never know if the movie's not done. So got inspired by the book The Outsiders. They made The Outsiders into an actual film that stars Patrick Swayze, the late great Patrick Swayze, and then also the guy that played the Karate Kid. He was in that movie as well. Totally inspired by it, and really and truly want it to be up on the big screen as well. So who knows? I'm gonna keep knocking. You guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to my video. I have talked about myself, and hopefully someone is inspired by this video to keep going forward in your dreams and not let anybody hinder you from going forward. Doesn't matter about your size or anything like that. Long as you love you, that's the message and premise behind it all for me. Love yourself enough to take yourself, to push yourself to the next level in life. Be the influence, you guys. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.